It was only opened in 2020, but quickly became one of the league's most recognizable venues. You're looking at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Ball teed up, Logan Cook after the kick. And here we go from LA. Return coming from the 6. The return manages to get just beyond the 30. So their offense out now to get this game started. It's 1st and 10. Stafford to the air to start us off. That's on target, Puka Nacua. And they finally bring him down, but that is a big gain and a new set of downs. They get 20 yards out of the play and move the chains. One play in, and this drive is already into enemy territory. Stafford now on 1st down. Quick slant taken in by Nacua. And this one's worked down to the 33 before being stopped. It's a gain of 17 on that one. And the Rams are going to have a 1st down. They'll run here with Blake Cora. And his effort results in maybe 2 yards, but nothing more.
I think one thing you learn, Kate, when you transition from college to the NFL, not every run is going to be a big play. Some of them, well, they're just destined to end in a minimal gain, and some of them will set up that critical play action for later.
Working from the gun, here's Stafford. He's got the hook up to Devontae Adams. And he's brought down a little short. No, actually they do give him the 10-yard line. An excellent gain, 20 yards there, and that's going to move the sticks.
You know what I like about that, Kate? I like that they're not coming out slow. They're willing to go with some looks here that will yield big yardage down the field instead of just settling for dinking and dunking the ball.
And he drives forward for a little, maybe to the 7. They managed 3 yards on the tote. It'll bring up 2nd down.
Hey, we know running the ball in the NFL is hard, and that play pretty indicative of it. Here's the key, though. At the end of the game, those type of plays got to be in the minority, and the majority have got to do some damage.
An all-around tough play for him. He took a shot on the release, and it definitely affected the throw. It's incomplete.
You know, that was a play, Kate, right there, where you need to buy your receivers just enough time to get open along their routes, and your quarterback enough time to find and hit him with the throw. Time, well, that's not what he had. O-line couldn't hold up, and it forces the incompletion.
Oh, tried forcing it to the slant. It's intercepted. Devin Lloyd making the play. Well, how quickly things can change. They were looking so good just a couple of plays ago, and suddenly, not anymore. Red zone look comes up empty with that interception.
I think the pressure got to him there, Kate. And I don't even mean all those pass rushers, although they were certainly coming too. I mean the pressure of being 3rd down in the red zone. That's where you got to slow yourself down as a quarterback and know you've got to simply protect the football.
Here's Travis Etienne on the ground. This is ahead for about 5. Tackle made by Cameron Curl. Give him 5 on that carry, bringing up 2nd and 5.
A humble 5 to 6 yard gain on the ground. Not a huge gain, not a game-changing play by any means, but one that keeps you on schedule and takes some of the starch out of that front 7.
Halfway to the marker, it's 2nd and 5. An option give here to Etienne. And 2 yards is all he's going to get before he's caught. Jared Verse on the tackle. Give him only a couple that time. It's going to be 3rd down.
Okay, that's a run that's ho-hum on the stat sheet, but if you see a bigger play on the ground later on, it'll largely be because of a play just like that one, softening up the front and opening the door for a bigger gap in the future.
3rd down from the gun. And that's a win for the pass rush. Hit as he threw it, leads to the incompletion. 4th down coming up. Jacksonville in punt formation. And no doubt he wants to get his season started with a good one here. He sends this away, and oh, this is going to be a field flipper. And he's getting nothing on that return. They wrap him up almost at the exact spot that he fielded that punt. That's going to be a highlight there, a 68-yard punt. And the Rams will take possession. On first down, here's Stafford. And oh, someone stepped in. It's intercepted. That's Jordan Lewis. And the Jaguars are going to have it after his second interception of the season. Okay, Brock, now back-to-back drives where they have picked him off. That's got to be a worrying trend for these coaches who know how integral the passing game is to their game plan and their success.
Those poker players, the best of them, when they figure out a tell, they know exactly how to beat their opponent. This defense right now, they're reading this quarterback like a book.
First and 10, they're going to throw. That pass caught by Strange. They're working a couple of yards past the line. Tackle made by Cameron Curl.
You know, Kate, over the years, I've heard defensive coordinators say, hey, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. You got to earn the right for me to call blitzes. And when you call a blitz and you don't get home and you don't hit the quarterback, you've earned nothing.
Yeah, the push forward doesn't get beyond the line. That tackle made by Kobe Turner. No gain on the play, and it brings up 3rd and 7.
I know these DNs love to get to the quarterback. I know that sacks many times equals a bigger payday. But doing the dirty work, playing the run well, that's what the best of the ends do in this league.
Cox into the hands of the rookie from Florida. And he's going to go down right along the midfield stripe. He manages a gain of 8 there. And that's a Jaguar first down. Throwing with a blitz on the way. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop it. And the big play drives them backwards. Second down coming up.
Sometimes I wish everybody could feel what that feels like. When you're a QB and you just feel the air in the pocket getting sucked out and you know there's no escape, it can be just one heck of a deflating feeling. For that defense who puts a sack on the board.
And he's tackled after gaining a handful.
Well, he saw his guys pick up the blitz. Well, he felt them pick it up anyway if he wasn't looking at him. But with their effort on his behalf, I think this QB felt owed to them and the group up front to find somebody to get a completion so that effort up front wasn't in vain.
First time this game they've looked to him. And now they're staring at 4th and long.
Can't cover it much better than that. Really well covered, Kate, on that play. There just simply was not a window for him to sneak that throw in.
Punter takes the field on 4th down, and he sends this one flying. This lands deep into the end zone. We're picking things up at the 20 after the touchback. They'll get this drive started. 1st and 10. Looking to throw here and shake off that previous INT. Well, the pressure nearly got to him, but still a good play defensively as that one falls incomplete.
You know, when we were growing up in the backyard, we call them alligators. 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator. He needed another alligator in order to get that ball off. Credit the defense for forcing the incompletion.
Back to the air we go on 2nd. Stafford. He's going to lob one deep down the left sideline. Really pushing the envelope on 2nd down, but the deep shot doesn't work.
Defensive coaches in the NFL say it all the time. Limit the big play. Keep these guys in front of you. Well, this defense is going to have to stay vigilant because this receiver, he could take the lid off a defense at any time.
Throwing is Stafford on 3rd. Throw reeled in by Higbee. And he's going to be brought down up at the 28-yard line. We're through 1 quarter of this opening weekend of football. Hopefully no shortage of excitement coming up in the 2nd. We'll return to Inglewood in just a moment. Rams going to punt on 4th down, and they're calling Ethan Evans to the field. And this is going to be his first punt of the new season. And this one is away, and he got all of it and then some. That's taken at the 15. And he gets his offense in better field position here to start. Up close to the 30. Looks like he might break it for a minute, but still a good 14 yards on the return. And it'll be Jaguars football. Offense ready to begin this drive. 1st and 10. Here's Etienne to begin the drive. And he'll get it up near the 38-yard line before going down.
Well, that doesn't net a first down. You get yards like that in the run game, you will take it in the NFL.
Let's see what they want to do here, partner. It's 2nd and inches. They go right back to Etienne. And he'll get it up to the 44. He gets 6 on that play. And that'll be good for a Jacksonville first down. Man in motion here. Hands it to the receiver here in motion. Oh, look at this sweep. And he's able to cross midfield before going out. He managed 6 on the play, bringing up 2nd and 4. Inside handoff goes to Etienne. He cuts it to the right sideline. And he finally ends up out of bounds after a huge gain. They rip off a big chunk of field, and it sets him up with 1st and goal. Etienne has the Jacksonville touchdown. The Jaguars get the game's first points here in the 2nd. Travis Etienne, the touchdown. So, Brock, this offense starting to find its rhythm a bit as they finish things with a touchdown there to give them the lead.
And the key word there that you said is finish, because you want to have that mindset, even early in the game, that field goals aren't going to cut it. So that's great work to make sure they finish with 6 points.
On now is Cook to kick this away. And he just sends it over the end zone. No threat of a return at all, but now they're going to spot the ball at the 30 to begin the drive. And the drive will start out with a 1st and 10. I'll start on the ground, Coro. And he scampers ahead and gets 2 on the carry.
You know, not a ton of yards, but still showing that commitment to the ground game. The type of run that keeps the defense from loading up in coverage and focusing entirely on that passing game.
Stafford from the gun. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop him. And that pushes them back. 3rd down coming up.
Kate, I've seen a one-step drop. I've seen a 3, a 5, a 7. Some of the boots and play actions get more depth, but a 20-step drop? That's not going to cut it, except for this defense. It just adds up.
Oh, brother, it's another interception. Picked off by Tyson Campbell. And he makes the Heffs goal. It's a touchdown on the pick 6. But we all know getting the interception is the important thing, Brock. But how about this guy having the wherewithal to transition into a really nice return to then get the touchdown out of it, too?
Yeah, that's a great point. We talk about it with receivers, right? Getting vertical right away after making a catch. But same thing for these defenders when they make a pick. They secure the football, sure. But instantly they go back to their offensive days. They want that touchdown, and they want a moment they won't forget.
A quick chance at redemption after that pick 6 as it's sent away. Has this at the 6. And the return sets them up just beyond their own 20. They're out and set, 1st and 10. Running the counter, Corum. And he's brought down after a nice gain and a first down.
You know, Kate, if you notice those guys that love to feed themselves on the field, right? They love to just get more and more. They're hungry for even more. I'll tell you what, that tackle, it prevented something that's going to be a lot bigger. That back remains hungry.
And this is a nice gain. That stopped at the 47. Call it 7 yards, and now they'll have second down and 3. From the 47. That's completed right side. He makes it in for the Los Angeles touchdown. The Rams make it a one-score game in the first half. I love plays like this, Brock. Sometimes you just got to ask your dude, show me what you got, man. Show off those wheels, and he did just that.
Yeah, beauty in simplicity, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you run that fly route, you got to win right from the jump. You got to protect yourself from the sideline, too. Don't get pushed to the boundary. Give your quarterback room to throw it up, and you can find pay dirt.
And just like that, we're back to a one-possession ball game as the kickoff is away. Returning it from the 4. And pretty solid field position starting out here, Brock. He's tackled at the 29. Drive starts out with a 1st and 10. He'll give this up the middle to ETN. And he'll push this upfield and earn them a new set of downs.
Now, don't think for a second they're going to slow down the tempo. Defense on their heels. And right now is the best chance to go push that envelope and get aggressive.
Going to the ground again on 1st. And they'll get him down after he gets into the 48. A nice gain of 13 yards as it brings up a first down. We're at the 2-minute warning now from SoFi. And it's the Jaguars with a 1st and 10. He's dropping back to throw. That is caught by Brian Thomas Jr. Give him 15 yards on the pickup there. And that's a Jaguar first down.
You know, Kate, you'll find teams go to this crossing route concept sometimes a dozen times a game. And a lot of times it's for shorter yardage, but sometimes things break in the right coverage for a much bigger impact play, just like that.
And he'll get it down to the 24-yard line.
When there's heat, that blitz coming off the snap, that QB's eyes, you could see it right away. He got to his check down in a hurry. But, Kate, here's the key. Quarterback and running back have to be on the same page. The two were right there, and it netted some positive yards.
They touch him down as he finds enough to pick up the first. The Jaguars are going to call their first time out. He brings the offense up now for a 1st and 10. From the red zone now. He'll dump this one off to his running back, complete. Takes it in, touchdown Jacksonville. The Jaguars grow their lead just before halftime. Travis Etienne, the touchdown. Little tax on the extra point. And the Jaguars double their lead to 14. On now is Cook to kick this away. And it bounces out of the end zone, so they'll set up shop at the 30. They'll get this drive started. 1st and 10. Shotgun snap to Sanford. Complete. It's Atwell. And they'll take him down at the 43-yard line. It's a 13-yard play, and that's enough for the first. Throwing now, Stafford. And that one's going to fall incomplete. No luck there. Just 11 seconds remaining.
How many times do defenders hear from their coaches, read and react? read and react. You got to read where the quarterback's eyes are going, and then more importantly, you got to react as he begins to throw and knock that ball away.
Oh no, they get him yet again! And the Jaguars might be able to get some points late after the interception.
4 picks, 1 game. Yeah, I get it. They've not all been his fault, but it isn't any easier to stomach. For the sake of his mental game, I think it's about time to limit things to short, easy passes or simply take him off this field altogether.
One last play before the break. A final throw before the break. Now this is intercepted. That is back-to-back passes. And the Rams do not get the return all the way back. That's going to bring us to the end of our first half. That brings us to halftime. We'll get a break as our teams make their adjustments and then return with more of the NFL on EA Sports in just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. Kate Scott, Brock Heward with you as we're about set to begin the third quarter. We'll see what the first half adjustments of the season are as they're teed up, and away we go in our second half. Here's a return from the 7. He stopped on the return at the 27. Offense ready to begin this drive. 1st and 10. On the run, it's Etienne. It is charged towards the line. That's right around 3 yards.
You know, they got some positive yards. That's a good thing. But too many plays like that, it just is too hard to pile together, get first downs against the better defenses in this league.
On 2nd down, it's Etienne. And once again, he doesn't manage much before getting brought down. He musters up 3 yards on the run. That sets up 3rd and 4. Shotgun snap, looking to throw. That one doesn't find its man, incomplete. No luck finding his receiver that time. And 4th and 4 coming up. The Jaguars into punt formation. He's been hitting it well so far. This is another big one. And the drive will start out with a 1st and 10. A give up the middle to Corum. And he's going to manage a lone yard on that drive up the gut. Stopped by Foye Oluokun. Manages just a yard on 1st down. Now it's going to be 2nd and 9. Corum again. And he gets leveled just before he reaches the marker, and that hit prevents a 1st down.
So much to like about that run, Kate, particularly what he was able to get out of it. The defense, I think, feels a little fortunate they were able to track him down before an even bigger run and crossing that 1st down marker.
They'll turn to Corum on 3rd down. And that's good yardage there with a new set of downs to boot.
You love a huddle? Kate, you really do. You love a huddle full of guys like this who just know how to keep the drive moving forward. There's some trust there that he's going to get the job done, and he's going to get another shot, I would guess, down the line.
1st down, and they go right back to him. And this is a nice gain. That stopped at the 47. Give him 9 yards. He almost moved the chains there. It's going to be 2nd and 1. He'll stick with Corum. And he's caught behind the line for a loss.
Kate, it's amazing how fast these guys are on the field and how fast your fortunes can turn. 2nd and short run, you're feeling good about yourself. But with a negative play, well, now comes a critical 3rd down.
Stafford now on 3rd down. He puts everything behind this one. And they pick him off again. That's Jordan Lewis. And the Jaguars are going to have it after his second interception of the season. Well, no doubt they envisioned that as the start of a second-half push for the lead. But the defense, well, defense had other ideas, Brock, protecting their team's advantage and taking possession back on the first play of the series.
Not the way you needed to start the half if you were thinking comeback, but exactly the way to start the half if you're trying to take this lead and step on it. That's a defender who sensed the need for a splash play and delivers.
And that's good yardage with a new set of downs.
Pretty obvious, this defense, man, they need more people around the line of scrimmage. But the minute you do that, Kate, you start opening up those throwing lanes. This is how balance takes apart a defense.
He lets a heater go deep, and there's a man there. It's intercepted. Kobe Durant has it. And the Rams will take over as he records his first interception of our season. Well, Brock, if you like defense, you are loving what you're seeing right now. Consecutive drives that have ended in interceptions. It's become a real defensive battle.
Well, let's see here, Kate. We got one, we got two. Do I hear a third interception in a row? I'll tell you this right now. These defenders, they are squashing that thought that defenders are offensive guys with bad hands because they're making it happen, taking the ball away.
They get it right back. That's intercepted. And the Jaguars are going to have it after his second interception of the season.
I think it's safe to say his day is beyond repair now, if it wasn't long ago. He just hasn't been reading these coverages at all, and it's clearly not on the same page with his receivers. I think it really is now time to think about his confidence for future games and get him out of this ball game.
And he only manages one. Couple of defenders there to bring him down. They'll come to the line here, 2nd and 9. Pass play now. Has him on the quick hitter. He mix it in for the Jacksonville touchdown. The Jaguars pick it off and get points on the ensuing drive. You love seeing a tight end get the chance to show off those wheels, right? And in the best of cases, he could rumble the rush coming off the edge, and they block it! And the Rams have it! And he doesn't get too far on the return, but hey, the overall play amounts to a point kept off the board with that blocked extra point. On now is Cook to kick this away. Starting from the 5. And the return sets them up just beyond their own 20. They're out and set, 1st and 10. Off the play fake, it's Stafford. He's loaded another one up. Big gain downfield. They get 37 on the play. And it brings up an LA first down. So the big play gets him inside the opposing 45, Brock, with a new set of downs to boot. They're going to run on 1st down with Corum. And he's only going to get 2 or 3 yards on that one.
Got to be rush hour, Kate, because there's a whole lot of traffic up the middle right there. He ran right into some gridlock, and he could only manage a few yards at most.
2nd down now, 7 to go. From the 39. On the quick slant, it finds Adams. And they get this down to the 28. Give them 11 yards, Brock, and a fresh set of downs.
That's just great instincts. Go air it out on 2nd down rather than just play conservative and run it. They hit a weak point in the coverage and don't need to worry about 3rd down at all.
To the line we go. They're set, 1st and 10. Corum straight ahead. Has some space inside the 15. And he has it all the way down to the 8. They get 19, and now they're going to have 1st and goal.
He easily had the yardage for a first, but he was hungry for a lot more. I think that tackle prevented something that was going to be a lot bigger than just a 1st down pickup.
We've reached the end of 3 in our Week 1 opener. It's not quite over yet, but it'd take a pretty miraculous comeback. We've got a 3-score game as we get set to start the fourth quarter. They'll break the huddle and come up on 1st and goal. They send Nakua in motion left. 1st and goal, Corum. And the defense gets there to force a small loss.
This is one of those situations, Kate, where I watch the body language of the running back because it'd be very easy for him to raise his hands up, look to the sideline in his O-line and go, what am I supposed to do there? There was nothing.
And he will score. Touchdown, Los Angeles. The Rams get it back to within 2 possessions. It's a Puka Nakua touchdown. It's plays like this that make him so well regarded across this league, Brock.
Yeah, such just a difference-making receiver, Kate.
Yep.
You expect him to be the target down here. You did, I did, the defenders did. But what makes him a star is even...
Oh, they got it. Intercepted along the goal line. Devin Lloyd making the play. Through the defense it goes. Room to burn. He's at the 30. And the Jaguars are going to have it after his 2nd interception of the season. The Rams kicking team is ready, and they're going to send this one away. This one's fielded at the 4-yard line. And a decent return ends as they bring him down inside the 30. Drive starts out with a 1st and 10. Here's Etienne on the give. And he'll take this up to about the 34 before he stopped. A nice 6-yard pickup. They're going to have 2nd and 4.
You gain that kind of yardage in the run game, and you're going to gain the trust of your offensive coordinator. Plays like that, runs like that, set the table for everything else in the playbook.
A 7-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
Most of the people watching will forget about that play in a couple minutes, but the coaches won't forget. He has that filed away the next time he really needs to pick up a few yards.
Throw reeled in by Thomas. And this is marked down right along that 40-yard line. That play goes for 19 and a new set of downs. He brings the offense up now for a 1st and 10. Here's Etienne. And he's able to manage a couple on that run.
Well, Kate, a 2-yard run on 1st down, I think that keeps you ahead of schedule, but you're going to have to pick up the pace.
Etienne again. And in a rarity today, he stopped at the line of scrimmage. Back-to-back runs yielding just 2 yards, and now it's 3rd and 8. Back now, pressure on its way. He'll get this to Etienne. And he'll pick up enough to move the chains.
Every time I see one of those angle routes, I think back to my day 1 install. Rookie minicamp in the NFL. Texas, angle route. 49ers of the 80s, they were making hay with it then. And the running back's still doing it to this day.
And he's into the front for a gain of about 2.
That's a pretty good stop on 1st down. This defense now gets a chance to dictate, and that's what all the great defenses want to do, Kate. They want to dictate it on their terms and not just be reacting to what the offense is always doing.
They go right back to Etienne. And he's brought down after a nice gain and a 1st down.
A split second, all that kept the defense from making a stand right there. It's amazing, man. This game of inches and split-second reactions. A nice bit of burst, surge forward for enough to go get that first by a couple before they could finally drag him down.
And he'll push this upfield and earn them a new set of downs.
Kate, this is why coaches across all levels of football harp on the importance of good, fundamental tackling, not just to hear themselves talk. It's to make sure that when one of their guys has a chance to bring down a running back, they're able to do it and keep those plays from going any further.
It's the 2-minute warning here in L.A. Jaguars looking like they'll start this season with a win. Changing things up, they're gonna throw now. The bat's got it. And a massive hit near the goal line to keep him out of the end zone.
That's a defense's goal, right, Kate? Just get us to third down so we can have a chance to get off the field. And that was a good adjustment on that stop in particular, when the back ended up being the target, and they were able to keep him short of the sticks.
So now, here's 3rd and goal. Bigsby. And not a lot of room for him as he's brought down. They get 1 yard, but nothing more. It's 4th and goal.
You know, I'm not sure what else could have been done there, Kate. Just the right call defensively to come up with a 3rd and short stop.
Less than a yard, all that's needed on 4th and goal. He's keeping it, he's going for it. And he gets in, touchdown. The Jaguars have likely locked up the win right there. On is Little for the extra point. The point after splits the uprights. And the Jaguars stretch their lead to 21. On now is Cook to kick this away. Returning it from the 4. And pretty solid field position starting out here, Brock. He's tackled at the 29. They'll get this drive started. 1st and 10. Working from the gun. Here's Stafford. Trying to push it deep downfield. And they can't connect on the deep look. Still a couple of snaps to play with, though, here. We've got 2nd down.
There's the importance of staying in phase as a defender. He was all over him in coverage, and that really did help force the incompletion.
Couldn't connect on 1st. It's 2nd down. Stafford now. Made the throw as he was getting hit, Brock, and it's incomplete.
Well, he needed another second to deliver the throw he wanted to. You got to give a lot of credit that time, Kate, to the pass rush for getting in and forcing him to dish it before he was ready.
Here he is on 3rd and long. That one is incomplete. Couldn't hang on through the contact. They haven't found it easy to score in this one, Brock, and physicality just like that, a big reason why.
And it usually is, Kate. I love defensive coordinators when they say, hey, it's not just what you see, it's what you hear. And you could hear the physicality of that knocking the ball loose.
Desperation time here on 4th. A bit of desperation on this deep shot. They can't connect as the coverage comes through with a 4th down stand.
Hey, I get it, it's already over, but go down swinging. Unfortunately, that play, like so many of them today, Kate, has been pretty indicative of how this contest has gone.
Offense ready to begin this drive. 1st and 10. Wow, they're going to pass it here. He put everything he had into this one. Intercepted in the end zone. And the Rams are going to have it after his 2nd interception of the season.
Not a lot of one-play swings bigger than that one right there. That throw looked destined for 6, and instead, well, it gets intercepted by the defense. The only way to get bigger is if he somehow returned it 100-plus yards for 6 the other way. But what a gigantic swing of emotion.
On 1st down, here's Stafford. Trying to push it deep downfield. That is incomplete. Down to 13 seconds left.
You know, I don't fault that look at all, Kate, downfield. It was just an excellent defensive play to deny him the ball and knock it away. That is good on good.
So after the incompletion, here comes the 2nd down call. A bit of desperation on this deep shot. And that's incomplete. 7 seconds left. Time for 1, maybe 2 more snaps. Puka Nacua the target on that throw. And things look tougher now with 3rd and long. Here's Stafford. Trying to push it deep downfield. And this falls incomplete with just 2 seconds remaining. Trying to force one through there. So that brings up 4th and long.
Any DB prefers a highlight reel interception to just forcing an incomplete pass. But as soon as he realized a pick wasn't possible on the play, well, he gets his hands on it and made sure it wasn't completed.
A bit of desperation on this deep shot. And that last pass falls incomplete as this game comes to a close. So the Jaguars come away with the win in this one. And they're one of the fortunate teams to begin the season with a 1-0 record. So far, so good to begin this new campaign. With Brock Ewart and our entire crew, I'm Kate Scott. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. It's a win for the Jaguars as we say goodbye from Los Angeles.